man gets in and puts his life on the line in the ring, he should be respected for it and not like sort of ridiculed and stuff. But that, again, that's just the sport we're in. And
this is Jonathan Agger, Fifth Pro Boxing Fans, joined by Stephen Smith. It's fight week for Charlie Edwards against Thomas Essomba. Stephen, how are you, and how much are you looking forward to Friday?
all good, and yeah, really excited for it. All the work's done. It's Charlie's ready to go now.
I just spoke to Charlie up there, and he was talking about sort of, the relationship you guys have developed. Going into the second fight together, how much more comfortable you two together, in terms of working with each other, and how much do you think that can pay off on fight night?
Yeah, do you know what? Again, just really happy with where he is, and I do feel, things grew even better from the first camp together. I think the first fight was ideal as well, being George Ori, a southpaw to work with, very similar stylistically. So we've just built on the last camp going into this one, and I think we've covered every base, and he's ready to go.
What do you think of Thomas as an opponent? He's got experience, he's fought Sonny before. What challenges does he bring on Friday?
Listen, Thomas is a good fighter, had a great career, a former Olympian, and he's now the current European champion. So we're here to take the belt off the champion, which is always a good thing. So yeah, I've got full respect for Thomas. I know what we're preparing for. I've studied him well, and I know what he's bringing to the table. I just honestly believe everything he does well, Charlie does better, and I think his attributes play into our hands, nicely. I think we've covered everything he does and everything he's good at, and Charlie does it better.
And in terms of the future for Charlie, what does a win, do you think, over Essomba do for his career?
It makes him European champion, and it puts him right in the mix for these world titles. And there's obviously 4 world titles that is waiting. They're all in Japan at the minute, so he's on a mission to go and become 2-weight world champion, and that's the plan, and this puts him closer to that. So the goal is to be again world champion, and this just push him closer to that. His rankings will all go up, being European champion, and put him right in line.
And talk to me about your role as a trainer. Second fight with Charlie, I believe you've added someone to your stable. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, talk to us about that and who you've got as well.
Yeah, do you know what? Really enjoying life as a coach. I think it's busy. It's a bit busier than I imagined it'd be in terms of the output daily, but I really enjoy it. I think I was meant to be a coach. I think my boxing brain and the way I see boxing, I think it suits this job for me, and I've now added Hamza Ruddin to my stable, and really excited about his journey as well. But I just think being in the gym every day with fighters like Charlie, it just helps me grow as a coach, and I'm going to have some great nights ahead, and I just want all my fighters to succeed.
I would like to ask you about the fight on the weekend, Joshua losing to Daniel Dubois. What did you make of it?
I thought, listen, it was a good spectacle for boxing. It had good eyes, good numbers watching our sport, but I thought the heavyweight fight was really exciting, to be honest with you. In terms of a viewer, it was great to see. It was sad to see the performance from AJ. I didn't think he looked himself at all. I thought he got hit in round 1 and was never. I don't think he knew where he was after that. He was a bit on autopilot afterwards. Tactically looking at it, I thought his head was a bit high, and he wasn't judging the distance well enough. But again, I don't know whether it was something to do with preparation or it was just something to do with getting caught early. You've got to give credit to Dubois. He come out and he put it straight on him. He looked like a man who meant business, and he jumped on AJ from the start. So Saturday, I think he got it right. He got it spot on in terms of putting it on, landing early, and getting the job done.
A lot has been made of his corner on the night, and now you're in the position of being a trainer. How do you look at that? When you look at sort of a fellow trainer now, and people are sort of giving, Ben Davison's coming under a bit of fire. So how do you see it as like a colleague perspective now? On the tactics and as well as the heat that he's coming up with.
I think it's part and parcel of the fickle sport of boxing, to be honest with you. I think boxers, I've said this before, you week, have a good performance, and then the minute you have a bad one, you're awful. You're never any middle ground. You're either good or awful. It's not like I was just had a bad night. And sadly for the coach, it's the same thing. And I seen that with Ben. You know, Ben got so much credit for the performances AJ put in. You know, the Francis Ngannou, the Otto Wallen one, and how good Ben's got him performing. Ben's a great coach. And then he's come under fire now because he had AJ throwing the uppercut and he got nailed with the right hand and he got done with it all of a sudden. Now Ben's an awful coach, and it's sad to see, to be honest with you, because he's given advice out and it didn't work. It's like he's a bad coach. You don't become a bad coach overnight. It's just, listen, on that one moment, you know, in boxing you can get caught when you're throwing any shot. The uppercut, I do believe, isn't a shot you're really throwing the front foot. You do become vulnerable with it, but the fact that he got caught after that advice, it made Ben look bad. But no, he's not a bad coach. He's definitely not. He'll show that throughout his career. There's going to be more nights when good things happen for him. You know, the good coaches and the boxing people will come through in the end. It's just everyone's going to have a moment like that in the coaching career where sometimes the advice doesn't work at that point, and that's just the fickleness of the sport, really, where people will jump on him. But I'm sure Ben will show his worth again down the line, and you know, he'll show what a good coach he is. He's still got great fighters in his camp that he can go and prove it with as well on a high level.
Sort of, you know, when you decided to become a coach, did you sort of have that in the back of your mind that, you know, if things don't go right, that you could come under that kind of criticism, or because you were a professional and you've been through it, it's kind of like second nature? Yeah,
it is second nature to me because of me boxing career. You know, I went into every fight at a good level, knowing that basically if something goes badly wrong, there'll be memes getting made of it and stuff, and that's how the sport is nowadays. The sport's about social media and views and, you know, things like that now, where you're seeing a whole new era of boxing where, you know, bless him, Anthony Joshua went down heavy in his last knockdown, and within a day there was memes going around WhatsApp groups and stuff of him like saying he was breakdancing and stuff, which is just embarrassing, really. A man gets in and puts his life on the line in the ring, he should be respected for it and not like sort of ridiculed and stuff. But that, again, that's just the sport we're in, and you know, the world we're in now, unfortunately, you're either good or awful. There's no middle ground with it, and people are quick to jump on and try and make jokes of it. But the coaching world, sadly, is going to be the same. You're still there to be shot at. So, you know, you give good advice, you're a great coach, and then if you give one piece of wrong advice, you're probably an awful coach. So you just got to basically have thick skin and brush it off. And I'm sure Ben will as well. You know, he'll know things what went well throughout camp. He'll know the improvements he's made to Anthony Joshua, and he'll take that on board and just keep moving forward and helping his other fighters become better. And that's all you can do as a coach: help your fighters improve, and you can go on, put your head on your pillow, knowing you're doing your job the best you can.
Just lastly on AJ, obviously people have said, you know, he should call it a day. Some people are saying he should carry on. Where do you stand on that? And obviously he said he's going to carry on, so I guess that answers that question. But where do you see sort of the future for him?
Exactly that. I think it's got to be a fighter's choice. I think his trainer should advise him, but ultimately the fighter's choice is paramount, and AJ seems happy to continue. So listen, he's got a future in the sport. Of course he has. I think one bad night doesn't make it any otherwise, and I think he's got to regroup, take a break. You know, it was a tough fight in terms of, you know, he got put down a few times, he took some big shots, so rest, recover. But you know, he's still AJ at the end of the day. He's still an Olympic gold medalist. He's a former two-time heavyweight champion of the world, so he's got a future in the sport for as long as he wants it. And I do think he can regroup and go again. He can correct a few faults he made. I just think tactically there's a few adjustments he could have made in that fight in terms of like his body position. I thought was a bit wrong. His head was a bit high to be sort of relying on his feet and then not judging the distance. He was still getting caught when he's pushing out. So I thought there's things he can adjust and make them adjustments and come back. And there's no doubt in my mind in that division at the minute. They're all really good fighters who I think can beat each other. So he's right up there and he's in the mix with them all. There's still big fights ahead for him.
Stephen, appreciate your time. Good luck Friday night with Charlie Edwards, live on Channel 5 against Thomas Essomba.
Nice one, mate. Thanks.